Hi there, I'm Jeff Whitesell. I'm the luckiest guy alive because I'm the flight engineer on the Lockheed Constellation we're standing in. Thanks to the efforts of the Air Legend Foundation and Planes of Fame and fighter rebuilders out in Chino, California, after a 10-year vigil, we have the airplane flying. Happy to report we came all the way from Portland to Oshkosh in 5 hours and 30 minutes. It was over 300 miles an hour average. And today we're here in Oshkosh showing it off to the folks.
AOPA keeps flying safe, accessible, and fun by protecting your freedom to fly. We are the most trusted one-stop resource for all things related to general aviation. Join AOPA today. Thanks to Lightspeed for sponsoring this video. Click below to learn more about the Lightspeed Delta Zulu.
I invite you up to take a look around the beautifully restored interior here. We have an Afterstate Room. How many airliners do you know that have a bedroom in the back? Back in the day when the 749 was an airliner, of course this was a divan and they would serve drinks back here. They didn't have the bed. This is something we did custom. This airplane was General MacArthur's airplane and was an executive aircraft for him during his duty, and we've roughly mimicked his interior, vastly upgraded to modern standards, and we'll take you through the rest of the airplane now. This is a adaptation that we made when we were here 2 years ago at Oshkosh. We had the airplane parked the other way, and we were watching the show in the shade of this beautiful cargo door, and I brought a folding table up and folding chairs. All we had was a cargo floor in here. And I said to the boss, I said, we need to be able to sit at Oshkosh and have drinks, so let's build a bar right here. So what you're looking at is what we call the cargo door bar, and that's all it does. The original airplane didn't have it. The big thing about it is it's a blockade to make sure nobody steps off, when they're aiming for the stairs. What we have here is the Aft Lab, which if you pan in there, you'll see it's bigger than any lab you've ever seen on any airliner, and pretty luxurious too. Come forward to the bar just in case you wanted to imbibe. We can mix any drink you like. I always point out the beautiful leather interior. Part of it was the stitching here. You can see the outline of the airplane and the three tails and the Lockheed logo that we adapted. Beautiful interior by Aero Metals out in Aurora, Oregon. We step into the office. I like to point out the beautiful logo on the table. Period correct map. Interesting perspective from the North Pole, and all the labels for the various nations are readable from over here upside down. Come on up to the galley. This is perhaps the most important part of the airplane. This is where they make the food that they feed me. We have the forward lab, which again is very luxurious. I particularly like the aircraft skin rivet look. More intricate details here, right down to the finest details. We have the outline of the Constellation here and again here. Very interesting. The airplane is fast. Our average speed from Portland was over 310 miles per hour. That was our average, and that was at 10,000, 11,000 feet. We're pulling across the entire airplane at that point 5,600 horsepower and burning about 460 gallons an hour. The wonderful thing about it is you walk around back in here, it's not quiet, but it's this nice low frequency rumble, which is so much more soothing than a jet. So, my job here is I'm a flight engineer, and it's the best job in the world for a kid that was a gearhead. You'll notice up front here, pilot seats and the pilot's instruments are up there. Pretty conventional stuff if you compare it to other airplanes. But back here in my panel is where all the systems are. The pilot and co-pilot basically fly the airplane and talk to ATC. Flight engineer has to do everything else. Welcome to the flight engineer's realm. Okay, up front you'll notice you got all the standard instruments. The pilots out there will recognize the artificial horizons and directional gyros and all of that. But they've got 16 instruments total. I've got more than 50. They can't even start the engines. I do that. So for the pilots that are watching, throttles, mixtures, fuel tanks, fuel pumps, propeller controls, cowl flaps, oil coolers, carburetor heat, it's all mine. One of the big questions that usually pops up, what's different about these engines? What's different about the Constellation? We have the Curtiss-Wright R3350 engine. These are 2,500 horsepower engines, 3,350 cubic inch displacement. They require a very precise degree of care. And to do that, the industry had to develop very precise instruments that had never been developed before. The biggest question that I get from most folks is about the engine analyzer. This is an oscilloscope. I can look at every single spark plug, 144 of them, I can look at the magnetos, I can look at the distributors, I can look at the leads. I can even tell how well I've leaned the engine by the shape of the pattern that I see on there. And for those of you who are going to train with me to be flight engineers, you just need to go in this book and memorize all these patterns, and we'll get you ready for the check ride. And each pattern has, differences, different signatures for the different problems that you can have. So that's the oscilloscope or engine analyzer. Unusually high manifold pressure. Most general aviation airplanes, you take off and you get 30 inches. These are supercharged engines. I can go all the way up to 45 inches with our current fuel. And if I needed to, I can go to 52 inches of manifold pressure, which is 3,000 horsepower each engine. And I can tell you that pushing the throttles up on 10,000 horsepower will make the hair on your arm stand up. And if it doesn't, it's because you've got no hair. I'm very keen on the history, very keen on the airplane. It's so beautiful. But the thing that I love about AOPA and about Oshkosh, about EAA, is I reach out to young people. And I've had the time of my life, 71 years in the industry, and it's been a grand ride. And I'm here to tell all those folks out there, if you have an inkling and the passion to get into aviation, get in there and go for it.